I have prepared three reference models here, which is the ground floor plan from the architectural and also two plans from the structural S02 and S04. I'm going to add all of them as reference model. Normally, you should not add structural drawings as reference model because you can make an error. You should be only adding architecture drawings as reference model. So I go to reference models, add model and browse. I'm going to add the ground floor here. Ground floor, open. I'm going to add a title for this. This is the architecture ground floor, so I'm going to put arc ground floor, and I'm going to add scale 1 to 1 with the origin offset of nothing. I have already prepared the CAD file to scale 1 to 1 and units in millimeter, so I can add it with the scale of 1:1. But if it was a meter or some other scale, you have to scale accordingly. So here it is. Next, I'm going to add the structural S02 as reference model. So I go to add and then browse, S02, open. I'm going to add the title and add model. So I'm going to have a look at that. They have overlaid. I can switch off one, switch off the other, and switch off both, and I can see whether they have come one on top of each other reasonably okay. It has to be accurate, somewhat accurate, not enough. This view was opened at RL0. Now for the mezzanine, I'm going to open a view at RL3000. To open a view at RL3000, I go to View menu, then a New View, Basic View, and then I type in 3000 here and then Create. See how I cannot see the reference model. That is because these reference models are inserted at RL is equal to 0, and this view is opened at RL is equal to 3000. And if I double click this view, you can see I can only see up to 1000 down from this view. So I cannot see anything at 3000 below this view. So if I double click and then change this depth to 4000, that means now I can see 4000 millimeters below the view which I opened. So it was opened at 3000, so I can see everything up to 4000 and then modify the view properties. So now you can see these reference models are visible now. Now I am going to add the mezzanine structural reference model. So to do that, I go to add model, browse, pick up that one, and I'm going to add title here, S04 structural. Now I'm going to put a Z offset of 3000 here. Add model. Let's go to plan view and have a look whether they all line up properly. They should. Let me put a point at any position. I'm going to put a point there, another point here. Okay. Press Ctrl P. I'm going to hide all the reference models. I'm going to have a zoom in and have a look here, and the 2 points are here. I can individually inquire and see the X and Y, but this is not the best method. Don't get misguided. This is not the best method. It should be architecture files you should be inserting. You should match the grid lines or some identifiable feature. Here I am adding structural drawings because we just want to place some columns, that's all. Spin it around, have a look. Okay, the pad footing is about 100 below the RL0. If you click on it, you can see the handles are at 0, but the beam is modeled at 150 mm below this. If you measure, it should be 150. Measure from here to here, so 150. So the handles are at 0, and because we put behind by 150, this beam has appeared 150 below the handles. Now PF1 is a pad footing 800 by 800, 600 deep. This also I am going to keep it 150 mm below level 0. To model this pad footing, first of all I need a point. So how do I put a point? I go to point, online. I'll put one point so that I can get the midpoint. So I click there and I click here. I should get a point here. So there's a point here. Okay, the pad footing is 800 by 800. So I get rid of the 1200, put 800 star 800. The top level is 150 below 0, so I'm going to put minus 150. The bottom level should be 600 depth, so bottom level should be 150 plus 600 minus 750. Okay, so minus 150 and minus 750, and I'm going to pick this point, and here is a pad. Now you go ahead and model this pad, and all the beams around. I can change the shading of the reference model by pressing Shift key and then 1, 2, etc. So you can see how it changes. I want to see the reference model a little bit clearer, so I pressed Shift 1. So here we have to place a column. Now let me check the dimensions of this one. Okay, that's a 89 column, which is a standard column in Australian sections. So I'm going to place a column here. Again, I'm going to put a midpoint in here and here, and I'm going to double click the column icon, so the dialog box comes up. I want to pick up SHS. For this exercise, we are going to assume that all the beams are at 3000. Maybe you should modify the height of the column to 3000. Let's do that now. So I'm going to double click that. So it's 6000. I'm going to make it 3000. Modify. You can see the column height has changed. So here is the next column. So for that, what I'll do is I'll again put a point, points online. So I'm going to pick the midpoint here. So here is the point, and I'm going to copy now. At that object, I click copy, source point, and a destination point. Now we have to run the PFC beams. So you look at the details here, you can see how the PFC is supporting the floor. So this is the PFC and the floor is supported on top of that. The joist is hung from a timber which is nested inside the PFC. So how you hang the joist, how this is fixed, you go and watch some YouTube videos. But this floor is sitting on top of the PFC. Also, you look at some more connection details. So when you look at more details, you can see get some more information. See, the column is actually coming under the PFC. That's how the connection is mentioned here. That's all right. So we'll use that. The column at the moment comes up all the way to the top. Doesn't matter. When we put the connection, that will be trimmed and we can make a connection like this. So B6 is a PFC, 200 PFC. That's what we have to pick up. So we are going to put a beam now. We have already opened a view at 3000. So let us switch to that view. I go to window and pick up this view. I'll put a point and check the RL. Any position. Yeah, let me click that in. Click that. Inquire. So that's at 3000. I don't want to see the reference models right now because I have the column and the back edge of the column is there. This is basically footing. So I'm going to run the beam backside to the backside of the column. So let me switch off the reference models. There it is, gone. I'm going to double click the beam icon and I want to select the PFC. So click that and I'm going to type in PFC. PFC. Nothing came. PFC star. There it is. So it's under C profiles. PFC 200 by 75 is what we want. What is the rotation we want? Okay, the rotation is at the top, but depends which way the C will turn, depends on whether you click this way or that way. So that's the front. So if we click from here to here, it will be drawn that way. But if we click from here to here, the C will be turning this way. So I'll leave that as is. Apply OK. So that's the PFC there. We want it behind 20 mm. So I'll put 20 mm and then I'm going to pick the back of the column. So from here to here. Okay, so the PFC has come this side. I don't want to see this anymore. I'm going to select that, right click and hide. Okay, so but I want the back to line up with this column backside. So what do I do now? I select that one and on plane I'm coming this way, so I want it to the right. So on plane, not in the middle, I want to the right and modify, and it has lined up here. Okay, should this line up at that edge for this particular job? No, it can come in a little bit inside because this beam is holding all the joists. So if it comes inside a little bit, it doesn't matter. So I am going to move it a little bit to the right by how much? Maybe 20 mm. Okay, so a cleat will sit somewhere here. So here is the two columns and the PFC which we have just inserted. I would like you to go and now insert all the columns, all the strip footings and all the beams as per member schedule. If you have questions, please ask. I'm going to upload all this model and the PDF drawings to Dropbox.